This is Stellenis, the dwarf who left his home of Black Rock Mountain to explore the old, dark, and forgotten places of the world. From Elwyn Forest to Westfall and beyond, he'll gather the materials and learn every single plan the old world has to offer him, so that he can finally become the greatest blacksmith in all of Azeroth. Welcome back, everyone. Last time, I teased that we could be hopping into some old content, and we're starting in scholomance. Now, although this is technically a Mist of Pandaria dungeon, it does hold secrets to accessing the vanilla version of it. It's going to require a little bit of setup, which is why we're going to quickly blast through the first bosses, because most of these early bosses don't matter, except for the boss that can spawn after Rattlegore. Or I guess I should say the rare that spawns after Rattlegore. Dr. Krastenov drops an item that we need in order to not only unlock classic scholomance, but also unlock secret pathways in naxxramas to learning new blacksmithing techniques. He drops Krastenov's Bag of Horrors, which is a toy that will actually turn you into Dr. Krastenov, which, believe it or not, is actually required in order to get this whole quest chain started. So while I quickly run through here, eventually we're going to get through, we're going to quickly kill Lillian Voss, and then we're going to move on past this part. Now, it's at this point that I realized that I actually forgot to film the part of me going into the room where we're going to be using this toy, so I'm going to try and explain to the best of my ability what is needed to be done here. So, you have to go into the original boss room of Dr. Krastenov. We use the toy that we got after Dr. Krastenov, and then we deactivate it, which makes the ghost spawn. She will give you an inert spectral essence, which you can transform using dark runes and essence of undeath to create the spectral essence, which will allow you to speak to the ghosts around Caradero. Now that you have your new trinket and you have it equipped, not only does it allow you to start this quest line by being able to speak to the ghosts in Caradero, but you can now also loot her femur, which is conveniently located right about here. Now that we have our new trinket and our brand new femur, we have one last thing to grab from scholomance. As we leave Eva's room, we head back to the old lecture hall to locate Eva's journal, which is currently hiding on a bookshelf that's just barely within my dwarven reach. Sort of tucked away behind the bookshelf, the easiest way to find it is to kind of squeeze your way back here, and there's your book. Easy peasy. Now that we're finally outside, it's time for us to go around the Western Plaguelands and Eastern Plaguelands to collect some items that we need. Our first stop is the old town of Corrin's Crossing. We need to go into the old tavern and collect a painting known as The Road Ahead, which is hanging under the stairs right before you're about to walk into the kitchen area. Right here. I'll show all of you on the map so it's a little bit easier for you to find Corrin's Crossing. The next place we have to go is one that many WoW players are familiar with. We need to head back to the town of Darrowshire, where all those years ago we found little Pamela Redpath and reunited her with her father. Located behind this meat wagon is the next item we're looking for, the Trampled Doll. The next location we're heading towards is the town of Anderhall. We're going to the old town center because we're looking for the deed to Anderhall, which will be hanging up on the wall to the right before you see Rattlegore. The next item we need is a bucket of Caradero well water, which I had already grabbed before filming this. But if you look closely, I think it might still be there. Oh no, it must have just been an illusion. Our last stop for our final item that we need is in the good old dungeon of Stratholme. The item we're looking for is right here in this little cart. It's the undelivered shipment of smokes, which is hiding right there if I can ever find it. There it is. That is now all the items that we need for the Ghost of Caradero. We're going to trade each one of these items for a different item. A candle, which is needed for the ritual to open the way to Old Scholomance. I figured now would be a good enough time while I'm running around talking to all these NPCs and trading all these items in to talk about my inspirations for this series. Now, I've been a big fan of World of Warcraft machinima makers for a long time, but more recently I've actually been starting to watch a lot of WoW challenge videos, such as Lord Knabble's Zone Locked and, of course, Pathelarix Gold Locked, which have been huge inspirations for wanting to actually sit down and start making this content. So I want a huge shout out to them. I wouldn't even have attempted this if it wasn't for their challenge videos. So please check them out. Now that we have all those items, we're able to come in here, and instead of going left into scholomance, we come into this room, and we're able to use Ava's journal that we got before to perform the ritual. It takes a few minutes, but every single candle that we had traded for appears before us, and when the bar is finished, boom, achievement and a pedestal, which now gives us access to old school scholomance, which means now we can start unlocking the secrets of naxxramas. I don't know about any of you, but it has been multiple years since I've seen the inside of classic vanilla scholomance. And when I first saw this, it took me a minute to realize like all the differences they had done between the classic one and the Mists of Pandaria remake one. This entire room is closed in the Mists of Pandaria one. I completely forgot about the whelp rooms. The item we're looking for is here in Rattlegore's chambers, which I don't know how anybody else found this item. Look at this. Look how small this thing is, and it blends in. The Cracked Argent Dawn Commission. Now this is much like the inert stone we got earlier, where we're going to need special items in order to fix it, which I had already brought with me. Those items being 1 righteous orb and 4 true silver bars, which you all can just buy off the auction house, but Stellenis here, he got those bars himself. I decided that I want to explore the rest of this dungeon, because I didn't really get to experience this when I first started playing. I don't know how many people had the same experience I did, but when I first started World of Warcraft, I didn't know what dungeons were. I would kill things, I would do quests, and I would get lost because there weren't quest markers in the game at first. I'd play a little bit during Burning Crusade, but I really started in Wrath of the Lich King, and Wrath was when I was finally brave enough to do dungeons and join guilds. I'd like to know in the comments what expansion everyone else here started with, because I know at least that my fiance pretty sure started in Shadowlands. Not a great start. But now we get into the final boss area. There's actually 6 bosses in Old Scholomance just in this last section. We're going to go real quickly, finding a lot of old loot, and I mean old loot. Like this stuff you can tell was classic World of Warcraft loot. He didn't even drop anything. We have to kill all 6 of these bosses, because once all 6 of these, I assume instructors, are all dead, is when the big guy himself is going to spawn, which he has an item that we're going to need. I quickly spin in a few circles to kill all these undead, and then we enter into Dr. Krasanov's room, and he's looking a lot better than he was in the Mists of Pandaria dungeon. A lot more fleshy and less bone-like. Still as ugly, but that's not really his fault. But now, we only have 1 more of these little mini-bosses left to kill, and I might as well take out all our students for good measure. There he is. The head honcho himself has finally spawned. And he's dead. Well, that was easy. But there's the item that we were looking for. The quest item. This is going to allow us to travel to Light's Hope Chapel and speak to this man, the Duke Nicholas Zverenhoff. Once you accept this guy's quest and turn it in, while you have your Argent Dawn Commission trinket equipped, when you kill bosses in Old Scholomance or in Stratholme, you are able to get items off of each of the undead Scourge bosses. But now, we need to actually unlock the secrets of naxxramas, which is going to be kind of a difficult step. Number 1, we need to get some Stratholme holy water before we get there. That can be found in any of these boxes. I would suggest getting a couple, because if you're bad at video games like I am, you're probably going to mess this up. Kill these patrols of mobs until you see, I believe it's a crier of naxxramas or a herald of naxxramas. A spirit will appear. Looting them will give you the ward of naxxramas. This is the item that we're looking for. You need to take the ward of naxxramas to a certain location and break it. The location that we're looking for is right here in front of this gate. You're going to stand here and you're going to break the seal of naxxramas. Once it's broken, a spirit will appear and you're going to throw the Stratholme Holy Water. When that happens, you will gain a debuff that lasts for 5 minutes. That is your timer. I'm going to tell you the fastest way you're going to want to do this, because you're going to want to avoid the gates that are over here that will lock you in there for a second. You don't want to go through those. So I would start with the area on the left, kill the boss there, and go all the way around real quick. As you can see, I got stuck in here. That cost me a lot of time. You have to kill every single boss in here, and then head to Baron Rivendare's area. Clear out all of the abominations as fast as you can, and that will spawn the abomination boss. It has been a long time since I've done this. As you can see, I slowed down there because I was also watching a guide on how to do this. I could not for the life of me remember why I couldn't get into his boss room. It's because all these undead spawn. You have to kill them first, then kill the knights, then you're allowed to get in here. I took too long. The debuff went away, and I was not able to unlock the secrets of naxxramas on my first attempt. I now have to do my second attempt, which goes a little bit better than the first time. This time, I got here to the boss a little bit faster, and I knew what I was waiting for. The horde of the undead that were coming. You have to kill every single one of them. When you kill them all, the 4 knights will spawn, and after you kill the 4 knights, you get to attack Rivendare. I quickly cleave them away. I run back over here to fight these knights again, and I think to myself, I am making good time. I will have enough time. I kill him. I did not go far enough into the guide. I waste time looting. And I sit there for a little bit too long, realizing where I have to go through this gate, go to activate it. Needless to say, I was a little bit upset having to do this run for the 3rd time, when honestly it's not that hard. I leave Scholomance, and I'm going to do this on my own. I think maybe we'll cut away and see what Girardi's doing. Girardi has made her way to the Stone Talon Mountains to assist the Horde in taking the resources from the Alliance. After we destroy some Alliance soldiers in a gigantic Bioshock reference, we eventually make our way back to turn this quest in, and then we head underneath to grab some new quests. We have to destroy elementals, find scared peons, and loot some engineering supplies off of the floor. Now, Stone Talon Mountains is actually one of my favorite Cataclysm questing zones, just because the story itself is so good, and I think most of the Cataclysm revamp questing zones are actually really well made. I pretty much almost always come back here. Now we cut to the portion of Stone Talon Mountains that looks like the attack on Pearl Harbor, and we are able to shoot down all of the oncoming attack planes. We turn this quest in, and now we're being sent off to a completely new area, but I'm going to stop and grab some herbs along the way. Talk to this man who's absolutely boogieing it down. And we're going to grab all his quests, and all the rest of the quests that are in this small little area. We're sent off to collect the body parts of many different animals, collecting eggs, and other sort of things like that. I'll try to go through this pretty quickly because doing the same kill this, grab this quest does get pretty boring to watch. We grab another quest from this orc that's over here. Then we kill a couple spiders. Then I find this girl over here who wants to have a little bit of a pet battle with me. Now, I don't do a lot of pet battles, but I decided maybe for a little bit of childhood nostalgia, I'll do at least one battle here.
Burn now, Charmander!
As my Dragon's Flame is super effective, and my Ram finishes off her last pet, we come out with an easy victory. Now that that's done, I'm going to grab a quick herb to level up, and then I'm going to head back turning in those quests. Which our next quest is we're going to teach kobolds what it's like to work without a union. I get to the last crystal, head back, turn everything in real fast once again. Our next quest is we're going to use some voodoo magic to give all of our Horde soldiers performance-enhancing drugs. Look at those glorious soldiers of the Horde getting bigger and stronger. And now that that's almost done, we're going to show the Alliance the strength of a unionized workforce. Not wanting to see what those kobolds are going to do to those men, I decided to head back and turn all these quests in. Now that this area is done, we're sent back to Overlord Cromgar and we're finally promoted. He sends us off on a hot air balloon to our next location. As we arrive, I become very intimately close with this weapon. But then I head over to the Goblin, turn in this quest, and I'm sent off to hunt a few more animals real quick for their body parts. Turn this in, and now we're looking for Night Elf spies. Throwing smoke bombs to make them visible, we're able to take them out with relative speed and ease. After these couple quests were promoted once again, we're actually now sent to a new area. Immediately my first quest is to get behind the wheel of a tank and wipe out some of the Alliance Night Elf forces in the area. I try to kill that giant tree, but apparently he's immortal, so I move on to a different one. I fly back to brag to these Tauren about my KD ratio, and they tell me that they haven't seen their son in a while. They sent him to try to negotiate with the Night Elves to open their big tree, so we wanted to see what happened. When we come in, we see that it seems like he was killed. But the evidence doesn't show that the Night Elves are the ones that killed him. It was actually the Horde General. I'm going to let a lot of this play out on its own. I do apologize for my mic quality. This was before I bought the new one.
Did you lose this, General? I actually really like this. My insignia. Yes, I did lose it. Where did you find it? Girardi found it. On the corpse of my only child, you miserable son of a pig. Your boy was weak, spineless, just like his father. And as for you, Girardi, disappointing. You are a disgrace to the Horde. That was for my son. Masha, we have to run. We must get far away from here. They will come for us.
How may I aid you?
Saw with your own eyes, Girardi. General Grebo attacked us. Now what will we do? Surely the war chief will have us all executed for treason. Perhaps if you spoke to Overlord Cromgar, Girardi, maybe he would listen to you, to what you had to say. You are a champion in his army, after all. You saw everything. Please help us, Girardi. We simply wish to be left alone in peace.
Be careful. Of course.
We head back to General Cromgar to let him know what's going on. He seems to kind of misunderstand what I'm telling him, but hopefully when we go back, he'll understand.
Watch now, Cliffwalker, as this battle comes to its glorious conclusion.
You are about to cross a terrible threshold, Cromgar. Earth Mother have mercy on your soul.
Look upon the world, Cliffwalker, and see the might of the Horde.
What have you done, Kromgar?
War Chief, I was carrying out your command.
My command? Was my command to murder innocents, Kromgar?
War Chief, sir,
Am I a murderer, Kromgar?
No, War Chief!
Then I ask you again, what have you done? I sent you into Stone Talon Mountains with an army. Your orders were to secure this land for the Horde. Instead, you laid waste to the land, murdered innocents, children even. I spent a very long time in Northrend, Kromgar. I learned much about the Horde in that time. While there, a wise old war hero told me something that I would carry with me forever. Honor, Kromgar. No matter how dire the battle, never forsake it. Overlord Kromgar, you have disgraced the Horde. You have brought shame to us as a people. By my right as War Chief, I hereby relieve you of duty. You are dismissed! And you...
Wait, War Chief. Please. This is the hero responsible for uncovering this corruption. This one tried to stop Kromgar. Have mercy, War Chief.
Mercy? Your wife and child were murdered. Your kin wiped out. Your home burned to the ground. Mercy. Chieftain, on this day, I learn from you. Kromgar's army is no more. Your rank no longer has meaning. If you wish to truly help the Horde, your considerable power could be used in Stellenis or in the Southern Barrens. The choice is yours to make. Let honor guide you. Do not forget that Hellscream's eyes are always upon you.
Sadly, the War Chief gave me the option of where to go, and I chose the objectively worst option to go to Stellenis. I have never quested in Stellenis in my life, and this might be the most boring time I've ever had questing. I'm literally getting quests from rocks. I'm standing here trying to defend eggs against all these monsters, waiting for the birds to come and pick them up. Every single quest I had to do was pretty much kill a satyr here, collect an item here, bring it back to the shrine, do that over again. It was the most repetitive quests, except for the one where I got to be a giant fire tornado and kill a bunch of Alliance soldiers. But once that quest was done, I decided to spend some time collecting herbs in Farolas, and then to take a break from Girardi and go back to Stellenis. We cut back to Stellenis attempting to pick up some of these more rare drops. The rare in Blackrock Depths didn't drop one. Our vendor here, all the way out in Arathi Highlands, did actually have a plan that we needed. So that's one less extremely far flight path that I have to take in order to get one. Then we move all the way to the hinterlands, but he doesn't have one. And neither does the vendor out in Teneris, in Gadgetson. But we do get lucky once we get to Ungoro, because our Tauren friend here actually sells 4 plans. And with those 4 plans, I think I'm going to call this a good place for us to stop. And in the next episode, we are finally going to be heading into naxxramas. Thank you all for watching my newest episode. If you're enjoying my new WoW content, feel free to subscribe. Our long journey to Outland is looking shorter every day, so until the next episode, everyone, keep your feet on the ground.